Welcome back to Eatsy, where if we can make cabbage tofu rice paper wraps, then so can you. These wraps are a cold side dish that are 100% vegetarian and are also high in protein from the tofu and egg. They're quick, colorful, and come with a spicy dipping sauce that you can easily make as spicy or as non-spicy as you'd like. So if you need a side dish and want to serve something a little more unique, give these wraps a try and then tell us how it went for you down in the comments. We're going to start off with 1/8 of a cabbage. You're going to want to cut through the leaves so that it makes little shredded pieces, just like Auntie is doing here. Once you have your 1/8 of a cabbage shredded, set it aside so that we can take it over to the stove to cook it later. Then you're going to do the same thing with a single large carrot. Here, Auntie is cutting the carrot on the diagonal in very thin slices, which she will then cut a second time into teeny tiny little French fry-like shapes. You could cut your carrot manually like this, or put it through a very fine shredder. Like your cabbage, set your carrot aside for cooking later. Next is the zucchini. We're not going to use all of the zucchini, we're only going to need about a cup of it. You can either slice it up in the exact same way as Auntie did the carrot, or similarly put it through a food processor or shredder. We're mostly just adding the zucchini for the green color to make our wraps more pleasing to look at. Add your shredded zucchini to the pile for cooking later. For some more optional color, we're also going to toss in a little bit of red bell pepper. Here, Auntie is using the straight part of about half of a red bell pepper. She's going to slice the walls of the pepper in half. This is to ensure that the pepper will be just as thin as all the other vegetables. Then she'll slice it very thinly, just like the others. Add your peppers to your vegetables, and then we're going to take them over to the stove and add a little bit of oil to a pan over medium to high heat. Then we're going to make sure that we click the like and subscribe buttons, and then add in all the cabbage as well as the carrot to the pan. Mix your cabbage and carrot together, and then we're going to add in about 1 teaspoon of white pepper. Let your cabbage and carrot cook down for a little bit, and then we can add in the zucchini and the red bell pepper. When your cabbage has softened and turned more translucent, then we're going to add about half a teaspoon of salt. When you've cooked most of the water out of your vegetables and the salt and pepper has been thoroughly incorporated, then you can remove the vegetables from the pan. We're going to set the vegetables aside and let them cool down completely. Next, we're going to use half of this 700-gram package of traditional tofu. Firstly, take your 350-gram cube of tofu and squish a little bit of the water out of it with a paper towel. Then you can toss it into the same pan you had just been using for the vegetables. Break it apart and cook it over medium to high heat. While your tofu is cooking, we're going to crack 3 eggs into a bowl and then scramble them. Cook the tofu by itself for a few minutes in order to get some more water out of it. Then make a little space on the side of your pan, add a little bit of oil, and pour in your scrambled eggs. Then you can begin scrambling your eggs and tofu all together. Then we're going to add half a teaspoon of white pepper, as well as half a teaspoon of salt. Continue cooking your egg and tofu until the egg is completely cooked through. When your eggs are done, then you can turn off the heat. Then we're going to add our vegetables that we cooked before and mix them together with the tofu and egg. When everything is incorporated together, you can remove it from the pan and again set it aside to let it cool completely. While the filling for your wraps is cooling, we can also make the dipping sauce. We're going to start with 1 tablespoon of light soy sauce, and then 1 tablespoon of black vinegar, and finally 1 tablespoon of Hui Feng garlic chili sauce. This sauce is made by the same company that makes that rooster sriracha sauce, so you could probably find it on Amazon, Walmart, as well as your local Asian markets. And those 3 ingredients make your dipping sauce. The dipping sauce is very simple, but also very spicy, so if you have spice-adverse people in your family, make sure you reduce the spiciness accordingly. To make our wraps, we're going to be using rice paper that looks like this. You could also find them on Amazon, Walmart, and your local Asian markets. Our package of rice papers also had this handy little diagram on how to make your wraps. It's a handy little diagram of what Uncle Fred is going to be showing you in just a moment here. To make your wraps, you're going to need a large bowl of hot water. It should be quite hot, but obviously not hot enough that you can't put your hands in it. Take a sheet of rice paper and dunk it in the water until it softens up. Be careful not to let it sit in the water too long, because then the wrap will become difficult to work with. When it's mostly soft, flop it onto a large plate, and then grab about half a cup of your filling and form it into a kind of loose sort of sausage roll shape on your wrap paper. Fold in the bottom and then the sides, and then roll it all the way to the end to seal it closed. You're basically just making little tiny miniature burritos. When you set your completed wraps aside, be careful not to let them touch together. The fresh wraps will stick together as they start to dry. So again, your process is to dunk a sheet of rice paper into the hot water, and when it's done, you can flop it onto a large plate or your work surface. You could use as much filling as you want, but a half cup is a good measurement, or maybe a little bit more than that. Place the filling on the wrap paper in a loose sort of sausage shape, fold in the bottom, fold in the edges, and roll it all closed. And then just repeat that over and over again until you've used up all your filling. And there you have it, cabbage tofu rice paper wraps. You can enjoy them with the sauce that we showed you in this video, or with whatever dipping sauce you prefer. The wraps are extremely mildly flavored on their own, but that makes it easy to pair them with whatever dipping sauce you'd like. They are a cold dish, so the timeline for preparing them before your guests arrive or you'd serve dinner doesn't really matter. If you tried them out for yourselves, please let us know how it went down in the comments, and also let us know what sort of sauce you used with them. And we release a new video every week, so make sure you hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our upcoming videos. If you enjoyed this type of video, please give the like button a click, and as always, thank you so much for watching.